Get off my fucking TV, especially Eva Marie. And all you fucking goons, just grab a cold beer. The man of the hour is finally here. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off The Script. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off The Script.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Is the number one fucking podcast in your subscription boxes right here on YouTube.com. This is Off The Script. Thank you guys so much, man. Thank you guys so much for joining me for episode 133, part number 3, to round out your Labor Day weekend, man. Sunday right here on Off The Script. Thank you guys so much. We have barely any news to go over today, man. I got a few stories. It's going to be a very, very light episode. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to have more content for you guys later on in the day, and that's where the news is going to really start picking up, and I can really get my opinion out there on some of the more hottest topics. We're going to talk about Roman Reigns and the PWI Insider Top 500 and him leading the way at number 1. I'm also going to make a video, both stories included. We're going to talk about Jim Cornette talking about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and his feeling on the current WWE product, especially with Kevin Owens winning the WWE Universal Championship. And then another one where CM Punk and Colt Cabana have deleted a 15-year friendship due to some mistakes made by Colt Cabana himself in the midst of CM Punk getting ready for his UFC fight this coming Saturday night, man. So we're going to talk about all that. CM Punk is actually being sued by the WWE. If you guys have not recalled, Vince McMahon and Dr. Chris Amon are going to be suing CM Punk for his actions and his words and his allegations based on when CM Punk was there right before he walked out of the WWE, man. So all that, you got that to look forward to. I'll probably get those videos up sometime Sunday and Monday for your Labor Day, so you guys got something to do while you're at, your friend's house or your parents' house or wherever you guys are at, celebrating the end of the summer, drinking a cold beverage and getting your last-minute barbecuing in, man. So I'll give you guys that entertainment to round out your Labor Day weekend, so you guys got that to look forward to. But anyway, guys, before we get into the news, you guys know the deal. Twitter, at JD from NY206. YouTube, same thing, man. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what the fuck you're waiting for. JD from NY206. If you guys want to check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Go on there, read the mission statement. If you guys feel obligated to donate, pledge, and support the podcast, you can very well do so via patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys don't want to do that and you want to support the podcast in another way, man, Barbershop Window via Pro Wrestling Tees and 1 Hour Tees, man, we are an official partner of Barbershop Window. Get all your Off The Script merchandise right there, including the new Eva Marie t-shirt. Get Off My TV version for $19.99. They do ship worldwide. And speaking of Eva Marie and Get Off My TV, I find it laughable how everybody is telling me how to conduct business. Oh, JD. Oh, JD. Eva Marie has black hair now, man. What? I mean, this is the bullshit that I have to sort through during my down periods during my day, man. I gotta read these types of comments. Oh, JD, Eva Marie got rid of the red hair, man. You should delete that t-shirt, man. Are you people that fucking stupid? I mean that in the nicest fucking way possible. Are you really that fucking stupid that You think Eva Marie is going to shed something that makes her entire character and her gimmick? Really? So that's the reason why you won't buy a t-shirt. That's the reason why you come on my channel instead of commenting about the top stories. You make mention, oh, JD, you fucked up. You got to get rid of your t-shirt. Really now? So when she comes back in 2 weeks on SmackDown, she's going to have black hair? She's all black everything? That's like Daniel Bryan in the midst of his fucking Yes movement before he won the WWE Championship. Oh yeah, I'm going to shave my beard. And I'm going to shave my hair. Do you fucking listen to you? Do you think before you fucking type away on your keyboards? Idiots. Everybody that came to me, everybody, and I mean, I give no fucks given when I say this. Every one of you who have came to me all weekend and said that same exact thing, in that same exact tone. Oh, JD, Eva Marie has no red hair anymore, man. You are fucking retards. Simple. Don't tell me how to conduct business. The shirt's there. She's all red everything. There you go. I don't know what else to say. Fucking morons. Have a great weekend. Moving on. WrestleCrate.com. And on Twitter at WrestleCrates. My friends over at WrestleCrate, if you guys want 10% off your first purchase, that is JD sent me for an instant 10% off. And if you guys want to check out the WWE Slam Crate by Loot Crate, JD's offering you 10% off that as well. Use the coupon code JD from NY at checkout, and you guys get 10% off your overall purchase, man. Bi-monthly box delivered to your front door for Slam Crate, and it's going to be, hopefully very good, man, because Loot Crate is, I really wasn't pleased with them, but being that I am now possibly going to be partnered by them, I hope for the best. And like I said, and I've been saying all weekend, we may do a Monday Night Raw versus SmackDown type deal with Loot Crate, Slam Crate, and Wrestle Crate right here on Off The Script. So if you guys want to save money, you can certainly do so using my coupon codes for the various things that I am associated with. So go check that shit out. And if you guys missed anything previously this week, including my thoughts on the Infinite Warfare multiplayer reveal trailer from COD XP this week, you guys can go check that out down in the description below. Make sure you guys go check that out if you guys are into the video game entertainment side of my channel. And if you guys want to listen to this podcast on the go throughout the week, this very podcast, all weekend, the entire show that I did Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be available for download on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Audio Boom, Google Play Music, and you'll be able to take JD along with you for your work weeks, your school weeks, if you start in school. You'll have JD all weekend long, man. So if you guys want your fill of WWE news and rumors, I will be there giving it to you like nobody else. Plus, you'll get some exclusive content as well on the podcast via iTunes and Podbean. We'll talk about some stuff that I have not talked about here that you'll hear first exclusively on there. And then, I'll throw in some real life situations and bullshit on there just to keep everything a little bit more low-key, calm, personal on there. It's a little bit more intimate on the iTunes version of the podcast. So if you guys want to go check that out, all the information you need and all the links are down in the description below. Thank you guys for all that. Now, let's talk about the top story for this Sunday, man. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton, and the rematch is set for next month, and nobody knows why. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton, regardless of how you feel about the ending of their match at SummerSlam, and what happened there and what transpired with the big fallout with Shane McMahon and then Paul Heyman apologizing to Stephanie McMahon on Monday Night Raw this past Monday, you're going to feel very strongly about it one way or another. There is a lot of speculation about what was booked for Lesnar versus Orton and what was planned for the match, but the reality is the reaction and the impact of the match make it a success no matter what anyone has to say. Definitely true. WWE fans have waited over a decade to see a match between Lesnar and Orton in their prime, but it turns out they may not have to wait much longer to see them do it again. According to a report from PWSlam.com, WWE is booking the rematch between Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton during a WWE live event on Saturday, September 24th in Chicago, Illinois. And for what it's worth, that event is being held the night before WWE's Clash of Champions that will be exclusive to Monday Night Raw. Also on the card will be Rusev versus Roman Reigns for the WWE United States Championship in a street fight. Sami Zayn and Neville will take on Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. That's probably a match I would love to see. I really wish I could see that on television, not have it being booked at a house show where nobody but the people in attendance are going to see that. And several others are booked to make appearances as well. That said, this event is happening with Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton. Makes little sense. But now new information has arose, but it may still leave everyone puzzled. According to Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE simply asked Brock Lesnar to work this event, and he agreed to do it. WWE initially wanted him to do it because pay for live events is different compared to pay-per-view when it comes to Brock's specific deal. This is mainly because they have him work major shows such as WrestleMania, SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, rather than a random live event in fucking Montana, okay? It seemed like WWE wasted a date just to pay Lesnar less for one of his events. Of course, Brock agreed to it. WWE also feels that there is a bit of difference between pay-per-views and live events as well. Usually pay-per-views tend to be longer main event quality matches, whereas live events are done as squash matches, for him especially, when he does indeed work them. This is not the case for all WWE superstars, as live events actually allow wrestlers to work longer matches that are usually very good as opposed to the shorter ones that we see on television, which is why the house shows... Which is probably why the house shows, the positives about house shows, that's probably the only glaring positive about house shows, period. It allows workers who are going to eventually, in the future, work pay-per-view events. They can pretty much lay out what they want to do. No cameras on them, no stress. You just got to perform in front of the 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people that are in attendance for these live house shows, and you get to pretty much work on what you want to do and what you want to get across when the time really calls for it, the most important time, which is either on Monday Night Raw, Smackdown, or a WWE pay-per-view. So that is probably the only aspect of WWE live events that I actually like. Other than that, people are getting injured. Seth Rollins, as you guys know, was injured at a house show in a match with Kane in a no-holds-barred match defending the WWE Championship. You guys know what resulted from that. He was out for 8 months. So house shows, things do happen. Things do go wrong at house shows. Not often, but there is the possibility of something major like a Seth Rollins injury or a Seth Rollins-like injury happening at house shows. But the fact that these house shows allow wrestlers to work longer matches, I actually like, because it gets them ready for what they want to do on pay-per-view, and when we finally get to pay-per-view, they're working out the kinks, and they're working on the strategy and what type of match do they want to have, and when we finally get the real thing, when it's important, when we're all going to see it on the network, it makes for a great, great match in the end. That's why John Cena and AJ Styles were working all these house shows together. My brother actually went to the Madison Square Garden house show with a date, and he and his date enjoyed themselves because the matches were longer, the crowd was great in New York City. Obviously John Cena beat AJ Styles in the house show because they wanted to send the people home happy. But, working with John Cena and AJ Styles at a house show together, you guys get ready for, your big match. And that's why the SummerSlam match was so great, because they worked so well together. They're familiar with each other. They know what they want to do together as a team in that ring. So that's one of the positives I get from house shows. Other than that, I really don't care for them, nor will I attend them if they are in the area. Now, interestingly, WWE allowed Brock Lesnar to pick his opponent for the event in Chicago, and Lesnar happened to choose based on who he felt was the best person on the roster at the event. Of course, that was Randy Orton, which does pretty much mean we will see another squash match, or Chicago will, at least. And some of you guys who have come to me who are going to attend that show are going to be in for a Brock Lesnar feasting, as always. So if you enjoy Brock Lesnar carnage, obviously you're going to get some in Chicago. And maybe Punk and Lesnar will hang out after the show and shoot the shit before his fight at UFC 2. Actually, that's actually going to happen. They'll probably be talking about how CM Punk lost to Mickey Gall at UFC 203. So that's going to be pretty interesting if that does indeed happen as well. Doubt it, but, Punk is in Chicago. Lesnar's going to be in Chicago. They're both UFC fighters. So maybe. We'll see what happens. It also appears he did this because he felt the live event gate would do better if he faced off with someone like Orton. All of this being said, we can surely blame WWE for putting this rematch on a live event and not on a pay-per-view. However, we can also blame Brock Lesnar for it as well, as he handpicked his opponent for the evening. It made sense for his end of things, as allowing him to face Randy does mean more money at the live gate because fans do want to see the two wrestle again. However, it can be assumed that WWE fans will leave disappointed with the match yet again, as they would clearly not have Orton go over at a live event. The real question does remain, though, why did WWE want to waste a date for Brock Lesnar that they may need down the line for him? They know his contract and how it works, and they certainly know this match alone is pay-per-view worthy. Is WWE slowly trying to run off Lesnar's deal so they don't have to keep him around? Or is this about driving up live event numbers in the future? It's about driving live event numbers. I don't think WWE is trying to get rid of Brock Lesnar. WWE wants Brock Lesnar around. WWE certainly needs Brock Lesnar around, especially if he is associated with a brand and not as a floater between Raw and SmackDown. Being that he is brand exclusive, he is more important now to WWE than he was before the draft. So, Lesnar is going to be in the WWE for the foreseeable future. Lesnar right now, whether you love him or hate him, is a big piece to WWE's future. He is a vital piece to the future going forward because LeBar talked about it. I haven't listened to his opinion on it, but I just merely seen the topic of discussion that he was talking about this week on his podcast. And that is Lesnar is the new Undertaker. The Lesnar, run that he's having, Lesnar is the new streak. So WWE is going to do whatever they can and by whatever means possible to keep Lesnar as strong as ever. And when they finally, are done with this entire thing and Lesnar is about to lose clean for the first time in God knows how long, it is going to be very important. Whoever that opponent is, obviously will be a fucking superstar for the foreseeable future. You guys know how I feel about that. Some in the community feel like it's going to be Roman Reigns. Some in the community want to see a Nakamura or a Samoa Joe. I know a few people that I listen to are on the Roman Reigns bandwagon, but nobody is going to buy into that. I'm sorry. Nobody's going to accept that. Nobody is going to appreciate that. Nobody is going to want to see that. WWE, they've done literally everything under the fucking sun to make Roman Reigns the number one guy. Wasting that opportunity on Roman Reigns is going to be exactly that, a wasted opportunity for someone else. Nobody wants to see Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar again. I'm going to have a very, very hard time finding Roman Reigns stepping into the ring with Brock Lesnar and beating him clean. It's not going to happen. It's not believable to me. Roman Reigns is not of the DNA of a Samoa Joe. Roman Reigns is not the DNA of a Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura and Brock Lesnar went at it in New Japan, and I have not watched the match. Some people say, yeah, it's worth your time. Some people say, JD, it's not really all that great. This was something that was happening in New Japan in their early days. Both Lesnar and Nakamura's early days, I should say. But now that they're older, wiser, more mature, and now probably more in tune with their craft, this is something I'd love to see. The only thing that's holding Nakamura and Joe back, and I hope WWE wouldn't want to, make this a deciding factor, is the age of Nakamura and Samoa Joe. Nakamura is 36, 37 years old. Joe is 37 years old, same age as Nakamura. They're on the, I wouldn't say they're the old-timers of the WWE roster, but they're certainly not, they're certainly not of the breed of a Seth Rollins or a Dean Ambrose or a Roman Reigns or a Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, obviously. But that doesn't mean they're old. Nakamura and Samoa Joe, to me, it's all about believability. Roman Reigns had a great fucking match. I will admit that until I'm blue in the face. And I was one of the detractors at WrestleMania 31. I was very, very, very pessimistic going into that WrestleMania match. By the end of that match, to me, that was one of my favorite matches all year. WrestleMania 31 as an event was fucking great. Was great. Roman Reigns added to that. The cash-in from Seth Rollins added to that. It was just magic. It was one of those instances in WWE that you don't come across all that often. It doesn't happen often. But Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar had a great fucking match to close WrestleMania. Now, I'm not saying that they can't do it again, but I don't think Roman Reigns is of the DNA of a Joe and a Nakamura to the point where he's going to go into the ring just by himself, vest and all, and start Superman punching his way to a Brock Lesnar clean victory. It's not going to fucking happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be believable to me. Yeah, on the main roster, Roman Reigns is probably the one guy, if you were to choose anybody, on that main roster right now to beat Brock Lesnar and actually look legit in the ring with Brock Lesnar, yeah, it's going to be Roman Reigns. But by that time, Brock Lesnar is ready to lose, and lose clean. Nakamura will be on the main roster. Samoa Joe will more than certainly be on the main roster. Why not? Why not? You know? I don't know. Unless someone who is half the age of these guys, if someone comes along who's fucking 12 years younger than both Nakamura and Samoa Joe, and they're ready to fucking beat Brock Lesnar clean, which I highly doubt will ever happen, there's nobody else. There's nobody else. You know, Lesnar is being compared as the new Streak. He's being compared as the new Undertaker. Obviously, it's not in the same vein. Undertaker had fucking 2 decades worth of fucking dominance at WrestleMania. So, if you give it to a Nakamura or Samoa Joe, I think it's going to be a little bit more acceptable. You know? That's just my honest opinion. You know? That's just the way I see it. I don't want Roman Reigns anywhere near Brock Lesnar. I don't. I think Brock would laugh at that himself. I actually think Brock would want to be in the ring with a Nakamura or a Samoa Joe if he had the choice over a Roman Reigns. That's just my honest opinion. But as far as this goes with this Randy Orton match, I did have a little thought about this. This could possibly be. Now, you guys remember, being that we're talking about Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. Remember when Samoa Joe beat Finn Balor in Lowell, Massachusetts for the NXT Championship? They had cameras filmed. They had cameras filming that whole instance where he won. They showed it on NXT television the week after. WWE could probably do the same thing here. They could have cameras there filming. This could be, and this could turn into a storyline if WWE wants. This could turn into a storyline, being that it's a huge match for a house show. They could turn this into a storyline and progress it with both Paul Heyman and Stephanie McMahon on Monday Night Raw. Something else that adds to the chaos could happen in Chicago, and it could be filmed and it could be used to further the storyline with Heyman and the McMahons and Lesnar. That's not out of the question. Something this big that's happening at a house show, it could certainly be filmed for storyline purpose for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown when it comes to Shane and Stephanie and Paul Heyman. They could do it. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but just having these guys go in there and Randy Orton lose clean in a squash, I doubt that's going to happen. If I was to guess, and if I was a betting man, I think this is somehow going to be tied in to a possible storyline on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Maybe. Not completely sure about that, but WWE would be silly to waste something like this happening at a house show and then not utilize it to further the storyline. That's just my honest opinion on that. So let me know what you guys think. Is it going to be part of a storyline? Or is this just WWE putting Brock and Randy Orton out there in Chicago, wanting to give the fans of Chicago something worthwhile to watch at a house show? Just because. So let me know down in the comments, or if you guys are listening on Podbean, reach out to me on Twitter at JD from NY206. Original plans for Sasha Banks and the WWE Women's title in the reign that she was going to have revealed. As the feud between Sasha and Charlotte progressed over the summer, most people assumed that the climax of their feud would be at SummerSlam, The Boss versus the Champ seemed like a perfect match. However, WWE made the decision to give us the biggest moment of the feud during the first edition of Monday Night Raw after the draft and the brand split. Banks won the WWE Women's title, and the era of the Boss seemed to begin finally, and everybody was thrilled. That was until their rematch at Summerslam, where Charlotte reclaimed her WWE Women's Championship from Sasha. The reason behind the title change was Sasha needed time to heal from nagging injuries, as you guys know. According to a report from CageSideSeats.com, that wasn't the original plan for Sasha Banks' title run. She was originally meant to hold the Women's Championship for a very long time. It's very likely that she would have held the title all the way till WrestleMania 33, where it's been rumored that WWE officials want to book Banks versus Bayley on the grandest stage of them all in Orlando, Florida. The odds of Sasha returning to WWE next month to reclaim the WWE Women's title are high, but there is a lot of speculation what WWE will be doing, considering how stacked the Raw Women's division is right now. I wouldn't say the Raw Women's division is stacked, but obviously they have a direction they want to go in with Bayley, Charlotte, and then Sasha's going to be returning in about a month's time. They have 3 incredible talents right there that could certainly be more than enough to build a division. Plus, you got Nia Jax, and everybody's talking about Summer Rae, which I'll talk about in a second, but Sasha Banks and Bayley, more than likely going to happen at WrestleMania. I mean, Banks and Charlotte are going to have another match. I fully believe Sasha Banks is going to get her championship back. Bayley doesn't need the title right now. I think it would be a mistake for WWE to give the title to Bayley. Bayley is going to be best in the chase role. So she's not going to beat Charlotte at Clash of the Champions. Sasha's going to come back and beat Charlotte, whenever that is. And then Bayley's going to be the one to chase Sasha all through WrestleMania season. And that's going to culminate in a match and Bayley getting her WrestleMania moment. Because that's what they both want. You know, Sasha wants to be women's champion. She wants to be the leader of the division. Having that match and having those 2 women, best friends, fighting at WrestleMania in Orlando, where they all fucking started this revolution, is going to be a monumental, historic, memorable moment for everybody involved. And it's going to be fucking fantastic. Bayley versus Sasha definitely is going to be the match to happen at WrestleMania. And if WWE's smart, that's the way they will start booking this when Banks comes back. So no doubt in my mind that's going to happen. But Banks more than likely going to get the WWE Women's Championship back eventually when she comes back from injury. Speaking of women and the women's roster on Monday Night Raw, fans are demanding justice for WWE superstar Summer Rae over not appearing on TV since the WWE draft. We know by now that the WWE draft is over and every single WWE superstar has been placed on a roster except one. But he's getting there. Heath Slater. With the draft, most assumed that this would allow for more television time for every person in the company, even Heath Slater, who is without a home thus far and has been rumored to have 12 kids now on top of his above the ground pool. And he's been on both Raw and Smackdown a lot under the guise of a free agent. WWE has tried to make sure everyone gets television time weekly, but this has not gone well for the WWE Raw crew. Many days, people are just left off television who really shouldn't be. For example, Sami Zayn was left off WWE television, who just had a match of the year candidate with both Nakamura and Kevin Owens earlier in the year, was left off the main SummerSlam card and used sparingly on Monday Night Raw. Nia Jax has also fallen victim to missing a show or two, despite the fact that they just have to try to build her up, being that she just arrived. You know, she's a new talent. She's just up from NXT. WWE should be building her up now that she's just arrived on the main roster. However, one person may have the biggest beef among anyone on any roster, and that's Summer Rae. Considered to be a great heel character who has flowed well between wrestler and manager, Summer Rae has not gotten a lot of television time since the draft took place. In fact, she hasn't had any TV time on Monday Night Raw at all. You would be forgiven for having thought she was injured or not even on the roster at all, because they have not even attempted to use her outside of the lesser shows such as WWE Superstars and Main Event. She was getting built up a little before the WWE draft took place, and most assumed she would be given a shot on Raw to see what could be done with her. Some believe she would show up again as a manager for someone who truly needed it, but nothing had happened, and fans seem to be getting angry over it. A hashtag was created on Twitter with fans literally demanding justice for Summer Rae, with her hashtag Justice for Summer Rae trending. It got so popular that it ended up trending topics for both Monday and Tuesday of this past week. Summer Rae would, of course, see it herself, which seemed to make her pleased enough to comment on the entire thing on Twitter. She was in the LFL and eventually found her way to the WWE, where she would show up on FCW while being trained by the staff. She became a GM of sorts for the developmental show, but it was shortly thereafter WWE would move operations to Orlando, Florida, and shifting everything to be under the NXT banner. It was here that she wanted to prove people wrong. She needed a shot to prove to herself, and she did just that. She began doing impressive matches on NXT, along with Paige, where eventually the two would meet to have a good match together. Some even believe that the NXT Women's Revolution started with Summer Rae and Paige down in NXT. She then would get called up to manage Fandango, where she would also show she could wrestle to an international audience. Despite the work, WWE has never used her all that well due to all the other girls getting time. The one they tried to feature her more, the entire Rusev-Lana ordeal came about, and she had not been used very much since that situation. WWE seemed to have some sort of plan for her after WrestleMania 32, but then nothing came from it, which made people feel she would be used better after the WWE draft, only not to be used at all. Due to the overwhelming love for Summer Rae and getting her trending, one has to assume WWE will see this and try to get her on Raw this Monday for some sort of match to give the fans what they want. WWE fans should have been using Summer Rae before a fucking hashtag was forced to be created. The draft and the brand split was supposed to create opportunity for everybody that was not being used when the company was under one roster for both Raw and SmackDown. Obviously, everybody was not going to be used, but now, if you're not using these individuals, if you're not using these wrestlers, I mean, find work for them or move them to SmackDown, where their roster, obviously, at first glance, is very dim. It's very bleak over on SmackDown. It's very thin. If you're not going to be using guys like Jack Swagger, if you're not going to be using guys like Curtis Axel, if you're not going to be using guys like, I don't know, Mark Henry, who gives a shit about Mark Henry, Summer Rae, Alicia Fox, they haven't been on TV. Alicia Fox is not that bad in the ring. Nobody gives a shit about Alicia Fox, but she's not that bad in the ring. Summer Rae has potential. If she works and works and works, Summer Rae has the potential to get over. And Summer Rae has the potential to be at least something decent in a women's division that is going to be thriving when Sasha is there, Charlotte is there, Bayley is there, being led by all those women, Nia Jax. I mean, I was of the concern that SmackDown's women's roster was the worst one of the two. And there seems to be more storyline and more usage out of all the women on SmackDown than Monday Night Raw. All we see on Monday Night Raw is, well, we see Sasha before she got injured, Bayley, Charlotte, and Dana Brooke. WWE is reverting back to their old ideologies from Monday Night Raw and the women. It's use the women who are in the top program and use nobody else on the roster or in the division. Why? How are you going to set up contenders, and how are you going to get talent prepped for a title shot and advancement if you're not using these women? Summer Rae is someone who needs an opportunity. Same thing with Paige. Paige wasn't being used to her full potential before she got injured and before this entire ordeal with Alberto Del Rio. She was nothing but a total diva. She was nothing but the Paige who was primal, raw, and respected down in NXT, and they turned her into a fucking Barbie doll. That's not what I want to see out of Paige. The Paige I want to see is the Paige that debuted on Monday Night Raw beating AJ Lee in her first night for the WWE Divas Championship. That's what I want. WWE has Paige, Summer Rae, and Alicia Fox on the roster. Start utilizing these women. Otherwise, what you advertised for equal opportunity, what you're advertising for a women's revolution, only is available to some. Meanwhile, it's not available to all. It's a women's revolution. It's not a Bayley, Sasha, and Charlotte revolution. It's a women's revolution. WWE should have expected this type of backlash with anybody. I mean, you got these people on the roster that you're not even using on Monday Night Raw. Meanwhile, this draft and this brand extension was meant for those particular wrestlers, and you're still not giving them a chance. It's either WWE doesn't give a fuck about anybody on their roster unless you're a big name, or the WWE has just so much fucking talent, they don't know what to do with it, even with a brand split. Or WWE Creative is so fucking terrible that they don't know what to do at all creatively with anybody. It's one of those three things. And it's sad to say. It's sad to see. Summer Rae needs to be on TV. She's got a great look. She can wrestle. The more she's in the ring, the more she's going to be, in the idea and in the thought of, let me get better and better and better and better. If she's going to be wasted away, sitting in the back, looking pretty, that's not utilizing Summer Rae to her full potential at all. Get her on TV. And while you're at it, get Curtis Axel on TV and get Jack Swagger on TV. Move them over to SmackDown. SmackDown could use the mid-card. You're not using them on Monday Night Raw. Why the fuck are they even on the roster? Give me a break. Nobody gives a shit about main event. Nobody gives a shit about superstars. Those shows are nothing but fucking recaps. Why they're even adding an hour of television to both shows is fucking beyond ludicrous. Who gives a shit? Who watches superstars and main event on the network? They're not even on cable television. Why are they there? You have 3 hours of Monday Night Raw and a half a roster. You have more than enough time to fucking get everybody on television. Seriously. I don't need to say anything more than that. Because I know you guys agree with me. Definitely on that. And finally, speaking of WWE Creative and WWE having no balls and being pussy, they kill Daniel Bryan and The Miz storyline. It is done. SmackDown Live has killed Daniel Bryan and The Miz from talking smack. The angle is no more. When The Miz delivered the best promo of his career against Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack, it got the WWE Universe talking. Fans wanted to see what happened next, and The Miz was hotter than he has ever been in his WWE career. Several sources previously reported that it was an unscripted promo, which was even better, but that caused problems backstage at SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live chose to ignore the angle and feud, and instead just put The Miz into a scripted feud with Dolph Ziggler. Turns out that WWE had no idea that the promos would go in the direction that they did, and PW Insider reported that WWE will not follow up on the hot angle with Bryan and Miz on SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live is fighting to gain ground on WWE Raw. For years, SmackDown was the B show, and Raw was always treated like the main show that provided can't-miss television. Meanwhile, Monday Night Raw has been, yes, I can miss this television because it's fucking garbage. Monday Night Raw has never been can't-miss television. Only a few times this year it's been can't-miss television. But most of the time, you can miss it and not fucking care about anything. Go into the next week and you won't miss a goddamn fucking thing. Nothing screams can't-miss television than a WWE Smackdown Live angle that seems steeped in so much real-life problems. This is why I said, and Steve Austin even says it on his podcast, you go out there with these guys and give them bullet points and let them feed off of the crowd and let them handle their emotions in the ring as long as they stick to the fucking guidelines. Don't make these guys sound so goddamn fucking robotic and scripted. That's why I hate a fucking Dolph Ziggler promo. That's why I hate a fucking Miz promo. Ever listen to Sheamus talk? He sounds like a fucking scripted robot. It is fucking nauseating. I hate it. You look at the Attitude Era, nobody in the Attitude Era sounded like that. Where did the fucking ideology go? I mean, I don't understand what the logic is there. You look at these guys in NXT and how they're being trained. Meanwhile, when they come up to the main roster, everything that they're taught in NXT is thrown out the fucking window to appease Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon. Why? If Triple H and his guys down there are getting ready, and getting the future ready, and having them do what needs to be done, simple, and then they come to the main roster and they sound like fucking robots, that doesn't mean you're doing the right thing. You're actually working backwards, while NXT is trying to move forward and build to the future. I hate scripted promos. I hate when a wrestler comes off scripted. This is why I love Bray Wyatt so much. This is why I love when a Brock Lesnar speaks or Paul Heyman speaks. You think Paul Heyman has his fucking promos scripted? No, he pretty much gathers information, has bullet points, goes out there, knows what he wants to talk about, and it comes off natural. You're going to script a Brock Lesnar promo? No, he's just going to eat your fucking kids. He doesn't give a fuck about your children. Give me a fucking break. Seriously. Even John Cena. This is why I appreciate John Cena's work. When John Cena goes out there, when he's in the moment, doing an angle, and he's in the middle of a storyline that's getting really fucking good, right? And he's on the microphone. You think John Cena's scripted? Of course not. He's got bullet points. You're not going to script the John Cena promo. Yeah, when he's talking about fucking cheesy fucking jokes and he's cracking jokes, yeah, that's the scripted part. But when John Cena gets down and dirty and he's really building and the emotion comes out and you see John Cena with fucking veins popping out of his head, John Cena's not scripted. He's going off of emotion. He's feeding off the crowd. John Cena's been known to drop a few real-life situations and circumstances into a promo. You know, the whole AJ Styles thing, when they first got into it on the microphone, you know, John Cena was talking about the independents, and AJ Styles was talking about, you know, when people come to the WWE, they're always fed to John Cena. You know, you ruin careers. You think that was scripted? Of course, they came up with this idea in the back that they're working together. They respect each other's work. They're gonna go out there and add some real life emotion into this feud. You know, it's always great when you take something that's being talked about on social media or that's being talked about in the IWC and you translate that into a wrestler's promo. And then they actually talk about that situation on television for Raw and SmackDown. It's great. This is why when The Miz brought up Daniel Bryan, you know, failing his fans, and if he wants to wrestle so much, fucking quit WWE and go wrestle your fucking bingo halls with your friends. What the fuck? And then Daniel Bryan all of a sudden comes out, well, I would fucking get back in the ring if they allow me. That is what I want to see on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Instead of Roman Reigns coming out talking about fucking tater tots and cracking wedding jokes, I want Roman Reigns to feed off the fucking audience and really speak what he wants to say, as long as he's within WWE PG initiative guidelines. That's all. That would be fantastic. I would have a whole new respect for Roman Reigns. I would actually enjoy his work if things like that were being done. I hate The Miz. I think The Miz's character is fucking terrible. After that one night, my appreciation for The Miz and my respect for The Miz was raised immensely. All it takes is one fucking promo. All it takes is something like that to really make you open your eyes, to see what is being held and hidden underneath. I love it. And I want to see that more on WWE television. But SmackDown Live, like I said, is fighting to gain ground on Monday Night Raw. And there are big problems for SmackDown Live. There's one big problem for SmackDown Live that might lie in the reason that WWE is killing the Daniel Bryan Miz storyline. Bryan was forced to retire because of concussions, and the WWE has no intentions of bringing him back to SmackDown Live as a wrestler. There were some rumors that WWE was leaving the door open for a possible Daniel Bryan return, but reports indicate that the idea of Daniel Bryan returning is not true. That makes this angle an actual problem to pay off for the fans. No, it's not. WWE thought that was the only payoff, and they canceled it. They ended it. They killed it. But WWE uncreative can't come up with another solution to this storyline. They thought, oh, well, Daniel Bryan, everybody thinks Daniel Bryan's coming back. This is the only thing they want to see. Let's kill it. You're a creative writer. There's got to be another fucking out for you so that we get closure to this storyline. You got everybody in the wrestling world talking about it, and then the next week, like I said on my SmackDown review, they legitimately killed it. They didn't even follow up with it. They did not follow up with anything. Who gives a shit about Dolph Ziggler coming out, confronting The Miz? I want to see Daniel Bryan in The Miz confronting them. I want to see Daniel Bryan in the ring confronting The Miz. Who gives a fuck about Dolph Ziggler? Go sell chicken, goon. Seriously. That was not the only out here. WWE Creative thinks, well, okay, we'll just kill it. Everybody thinks Daniel Bryan's coming back. He's not coming back. We'll just end it. That is so fucking lame. So lame. So they thought that there was no payoff. If WWE and SmackDown Live continued the Bryan Miz promo on SmackDown Live, they would have to build to something. Thanks to the concussion lawsuit that WWE is involved with the previous superstars, there's no way that the WWE can take a chance putting Bryan back into the ring. If Daniel Bryan can't wrestle The Miz, then the feud between the two will lead to nothing on SmackDown Live. Well, I don't know, maybe this far-fetched idea, what if Daniel Bryan goes out and gets somebody that can actually wrestle and beat The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship, and you could develop a feud there? You don't need to have Daniel Bryan wrestle. What if Daniel Bryan went out and recruited Kurt Angle? Yeah, you want to wrestle? Hey, there you go. Show me how you can wrestle. Wrestle Kurt Angle for the Intercontinental Championship. You know? There's got to be ways. There's got to be ways to end this storyline. Just don't end it after having everybody in the fucking wrestling world talking about this promo. That's lame. Fucking lame. This also leads to another problem. Daniel Bryan is the general manager of SmackDown Live. This gives the fans a chance to see their beloved star, but it also hurts Bryan because he wants to wrestle. Bryan even said in an ESPN interview with the coach that he believes he can still wrestle at 100%. I know he can wrestle at 100%. I just have that feeling. I know he's ready to go. But he knows it's a bad idea. With that said, The Miz asks Bryan why he just doesn't go back to the Indies instead of working as a general manager on SmackDown Live. When Daniel Bryan was feuding with John Cena, he once said that he would return to the Indies if WWE ended his career. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Bryan's contract doesn't expire until 2018. So there you got it. WWE has killed The Miz and Daniel Bryan's storyline from Talking Smack. We will see it no more. Now we are in the midst of Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz, and The Miz will probably go back to being scripted with his promos and being a fucking coward, ruining the Intercontinental Championship and all the prestige that the belt had previously. So we can expect nothing from Daniel Bryan and The Miz. They will not be interacting with each other. You will not see them in a segment together on SmackDown Live. It is over, like Matt Hardy would say. So there you got it. Thank you guys so much for everything this week, guys. I will be back with more content. I'm going to talk about the PWI Top 500 and why Roman Reigns is not the number one wrestler in the world for 2015-2016. If you guys have been paying attention to me on Twitter, you guys know for a fact who my number one is and why he is number one. And I will give you one idea, one clue about who that is. Roman Reigns will be delete. Roman Reigns will be deleted. Roman Reigns is obsolete. Roman Reigns is nothing but a fucking obsolete ant. Fuck that. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about Jim Cornette and CM Punk and their situations, respectively. Thank you guys so much for everything. Check the description down below if you guys need or want any more entertainment. You know, the Wrestle Crate, you got the Loot Crate, Slam Crate, coupon codes down there. Save yourself some money. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. If you guys want a t-shirt, online shop at barbershopwindow.com. And if you guys want to support the podcast, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Thank you guys so much for everything all weekend. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed. I'm JD. Enjoy your weekends. I'll be back with more content, like I said. Until then, I'm JD from NY, and I'll see you guys with more great WWE news and rumors. Talk to you later.